Welcome back to another exciting episode of the free Neville Goddard podcast. My name is Mr. 2020, and today we're going to dive into Neville Goddard's Debt Dissolver. You're going to hear a handful, just a small handful of fundamental truths that create massive change in your life. You're going to hear how to become free instead of being a slave. And you're going to learn the approach that totally changed my life, moved me around the world, gave me a financially free life. All in the next, 9 minutes or something like that. Let's dive in. Let's have fun. Let's totally rock your world with Neville Goddard's Debt Dissolver. This is so much fun. All right, let's do a quick introduction to Neville Goddard. The Neville Goddard Debt Dissolver. This is really good stuff. Ready, guys? So Marty reaches out to me and says, 20, what about debt? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. How do I imagine being debt-free? And I love this one because we've all been there. And here's the thing. Neville Goddard teaches that every one of your desires, your desires are divine in origin. Let's get that right. Let's get that straight out of the box. Your desires are divine in origin. The second bit is each desire has its own plan and power for fulfillment. And so you want to be debt-free. Here's the problem. It's not that you want to be debt-free. The problem is debt. You're in orbit around debt. Rich people, they have no problem going into debt and using debt as a tool. Smart people have no problem going into debt and using debt as a tool. People who struggle, they've got a problem with debt. Now here's the thing, guys. Try this on. What if you doubled your income and worked half the time? What would your typical day be like? How would your typical day be different if you doubled your income and worked half the time? Now, this is where most people's minds act up, and they go, I don't know how I'd do that. Right? That's not your job. But if you doubled your income and worked half the time, you see, this gets you closer to your desires. This gets you closer to identifying your actual desires. Because if you doubled your income and worked half the time, you'd have the time of your life. Buying something, paying a bill, paying off a debt wouldn't be a problem. Especially if you did this a couple times. You know, I made this my outcome years ago. I was going to double my income and work half the time, and then I doubled my income and worked half the time again. I've done this a couple times. I don't trade much time for dollars now. That gives me a lot of time to do stuff that I truly enjoy, stuff that has impact, stuff that blesses the world, stuff like the podcast. Think about it. I could be traffic right now. If I was focusing on getting debt-free, notice how this process works. When people focus on being debt-free, they start spending less so they can pay down their debt. And when you start spending less to pay down your debt, you start giving yourself more stress because you're imagining, well, in 72 years, I won't be having debt no more. And life just gets really depressing then. And then you start trying to solve your problems. Let's dive into this real quick. This stuff is not about solving problems. It's about giving life to your desires. When you give life to your desires, your debts dissolve. Your problems dissolve. Think about this just for a second. You know I'm right. If you doubled your income and worked half the time and doubled your income and worked half the time again, right, paying off a bill, eliminating a bill, paying off a debt, eliminating a debt, wouldn't be a problem. It might be a minor inconvenience. Here comes the electric bill. It's like $800, $900 here in Australia. And they say, hey, it's going to go up another 20% because we're doing dumb shit in this country. Right? It's like, alrighty. So the electric bill is going to go up another 10, 20%. No biggie. Because I play in terms of doubling my income and working half the time. That has me think different. That has me do different things. That has me not concerned about debt. But has me focused on impact, income, making a difference in the world, purpose. It's very different, gang. Notice when you think about debt, you feel heavy. You know, it's going to take a while unless you hit the lottery. Something bigger than you has to solve that problem because debt's so big. On the other hand, if you just double your income and work half the time and stop trying to figure out how that happened. You see, I tell people all the time, how would you experience one sip of coffee differently? If you drink coffee now and you'll be drinking coffee then. I used to drink coffee in my car, driving through the Squirrel Hill tunnels, the Liberty tubes, going to work so I could make a decent income. I'd be gone 12 hours a day. I'd see my wife at the time, usually in the evenings. Would go out to a bar and get some chicken wings for dinner. Because I was hustling. I was working. I was paying down. And eventually I burned out. And then I changed my plan. I really got into this. What if you doubled your income and worked half the time, and doubled your income and worked half the time again? When you get in that state, you're going to notice you make different decisions. You start investing more, you start spending less. I started selling shit. I said, you know what? Here's shit I don't need. Here's stuff that I bought to impress people I don't like. There's stuff that I bought to feel good about myself. I'll sell this shit and start investing in education, and that's what got us here today. I changed who I was, which changed what I did, which had me invest instead of spend. If you got gold today, we sent out the email in that little money pack. Make sure you get that. It's only $7. If you got that and you want to dive deeper, we've got some other money resources. Go to NevilleGoddardStore.com and just take a look around. We've got that massive mega money pack. We've got the prosperity pack. They're all different. If you're drawn to any of them, invest in you. And there's other goodies there, like the attitude of Abdullah. Because here's the thing, guys. This takes some attitude. This invites you to become free, not a slave. You're a slave as long as you're going right. If I buckle down, I can pay this off in 40 years. If I buckle down, I can pay this off in 77 months. 77 months. I got that email the other day. It's like, why would you bother? Why not feed your soul? Why not imagine up a life that has purpose and passion in it? Double your income, work half the time. We've got some ways to help you do that. Have a lovely day. My name is Mr. 2020. You've been listening to the Neville Goddard Podcast. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for caring. And go dive deeper at NevilleGoddardStore.com. See ya.